Angelus Daemonium. Chapter 1 Discovery. In the beginning, when man was created, God gave an order to all the angels to kneel and bow to man. But one archangel refused, seeing himself more worthy than men. Iblis said that men were made from mud and angels were made from fire, and refused to bow to a creature worth less than he was. A rebellion began, started by Iblis and a handful of angels that followed him. God cast Iblis out of heaven and to earth and called him Shaitan from then on. All the angels that supported Shaitan were also cast out with their master. But during this battle there were some angels that fell in battle. Among them were two twin angels, the one fought with God and the other with Shaitan. When they were struck down, their essence did not fade but was moved forward in time and into one special child. This newborn child will inherit the abilities of both good and evil. Present day. New York City. Wayland Raven, a young man of about 23 years of age, was walking his usual route home from work, turning down an alley for a shortcut home. As he walks down the alley, a gang of thugs is busy beating up a man that they intend to rob. Spotting the muggers, Wayland turns around and tries to lurk away unseen. The man being attacked sees him and calls to him for aid. "Help me, please." The thugs look up to see Wayland skulking away, and two thugs storm after him. "Where the hell do you think you're going?" screams one of the pursuing thugs. Wayland turns to defend himself and with two well-trained kicks, putting each kick on their marks, sends his two pursuers down to the ground. But before he can take out another, he is surrounded by the rest of the gang. Wayland doesn't back down and continues fighting, giving just as many hits as he receives. One of the muggers picks up a pipe and storms at Wayland, lifting his arm to try and block the incoming punch. But in his reaction he releases some kind of a force from his hand that throws the one with the pipe clear across the alley, knocking him out. All the others are dumbfounded by what just happened and they stand in awe for a moment before running away. Wayland, trying to make his way home to safety, only makes it a few feet before collapsing and passing out. Wayland wakes up in a small room on a couch, his head still spinning and his body aching from all the blows that he took. As his eyes start to adjust to the dim light in the room, he can now see more of his surroundings. It is a dark room, with only a small lamp in the corner to provide light. He can smell fresh paint in the air. Looking around, he can see the far wall has been painted white and the wall on his left was done halfway. In the middle of the room is a small coffee table, with a small old box TV in the right corner on top of a small cupboard. Right in front of him is the door, and to the left of him he can see down a hallway. He gets up and walks to the door and turns the knob, only to find that it is locked. He turns around and heads towards the hallway. A few feet down the hall he finds a door to his right. Inside he can see that it is a small kitchen, and the aromas of spice and food cooking on a two-plate stove fills the kitchen. Curious to see what is cooking, Wayland lifts up the lids of the two pots, spaghetti in one and mince in the other, giving both a quick stir with a wooden spoon that was laying next to the stove. He can see that both are done, and Wayland turns the stove down. Looking around in the kitchen to see if there are any keys laying around, but he cannot find any. He goes back to the hallway and turns down further into it. Further down there is a door to the left and right of him. Sweet scents are coming from the room in his left, and looking in he can see that it is a bathroom. The air inside still feels warm, and with the sweet scents he knows somebody just took a shower. The door to his left is slightly open. He opens the door just a little to see inside. A beautiful young woman with her back to the door walks to the bed. She is dressed only in her underwear, and picks up a pink sweater and pulls it over her head. Her long dark hair falls down her back as her head comes out of the sweater. She picks up a blue jean and sits down on the bed to pull up her jeans. Just then she looks up and sees Wayland. "Ooh, hi. So you're awake, I see." Blushing while she talks to him. "How long were you standing there?" "Not long," says Wayland. "I was actually looking for the keys so I may go home." You're in no condition to go anywhere, or at least not for another day. My name is Carla, by the way. She walks past Waylon down the hallway to the kitchen and takes out 2 plates out of the cupboard and walls to the stove. While plating up, Carla looks at Waylon. Now eat and get your strength back. Listen, lady. Carla, lady is a dog in a movie. Carla, many thanks for your help and attending to my wounds, but I really need to be getting back home now. Okay, if you can tell me your name and where you live, then I will take you there. Waylon stands for a moment thinking. Just like I thought. Says Carla, that bump on your head caused you some temporary memory loss. You'll get your memory back in a day or 2. Now here's some food, get a full stomach, some rest, and that will help you get your memory back sooner. He takes the plate from her and follows her to the couch. Sorry, I usually eat here for the lack of a table in the kitchen, not that a table would fit in there. She switches on the television and sits down next to Waylon. I just want to check that bump again, Carla says and leans forward towards him. His first reaction is to pull away from her. Don't worry, I'm not gonna bite. He pulls in closer to her. He can smell her vanilla scent from the shower she took earlier. Strange. What is strange? Exclaims Waylon. There is no sign of the wound from earlier, no bump anymore, just a little red mark, says Carla. Maybe it wasn't as bad as you thought, and I've been meaning to ask. How did I get here and what happened? Ask Waylon. I saw a bunch of men running from the alleyway, and I was just in time to see you pass out. The man that you helped me to get you up to my apartment. She gets up and goes to the kitchen. He can hear her opening the fridge, and a few minutes later she comes back with sodas for them both. Thanks, says Waylon. Why did you bring me here? I'm a nurse and it didn't seem like you needed a hospital, says Carla. And what if I'm dangerous? Did you think about that? No, if you were any threat then you wouldn't have helped that man. The two of them sat for a while watching television. Both of them finished their food and sodas. When both of them are done, Carla gets up and takes the plates and glasses to the kitchen. Waylon sits and hesitates for a moment and then gets up and follows Carla to the kitchen. Carla already has the taps running to fill the basin with water. Waylon takes a cloth from the wall and dries the plates as Carla is done with them. They go in the top cupboard behind you, says Carla, pointing to the cupboard. After a few minutes they were done. Well, I've got to get to bed. Have to be at work early, says Carla and passes Waylon and goes to her room. Waylon walks to the living room and switches off the television and lays down on the couch. His thoughts wander off, trying to remember who he is. I brought a blanket and pillow for you, says Carla suddenly. Startled, Waylon quickly jumps up, sitting up straight on the couch. Sorry, didn't mean to scare you. It's fine, I was just trying to remember. Just don't strain yourself, you've been through a lot tonight. Get some rest, replies Carla, and goes back to her room. Just before she turns into her room, she turns around and looks at Waylon. Good night. Night, replies Waylon, and sits back down, taking off his sneakers, then puts the pillow against the arm of the couch, making himself comfy and drifting off to sleep.